Man, things are heating up as we get towards the end of the year, and this is just going to be a thrill to watch. What's going on, guys? Dick's Report here, back to you with another video, and this week we are going to have 3 Saturday games, but as always, we're going to start with our Thursday night. Alright, our Thursday night game is going to be San Francisco traveling to Seattle. Seattle coming off a home loss to Carolina. Meanwhile, San Francisco absolutely dominated Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 2 games ahead of Seattle for the division right now. Seattle loses, they're going to be 3 games behind with not that many to go. I say San Francisco gets the win here. Indianapolis taking on Minnesota. Minnesota could not clinch the division last week, lost to the Lions. Indianapolis, they're coming off a bye, but they've had a really rough season. They've been able to fight hard in a lot of their games, but it's just been rough for them with a lot of stuff they've been through. Had to fire Frank Wright. Quarterback issues, just a whole bunch of stuff. I say Minnesota gets the victory here. Baltimore taking on Cleveland. For Cleveland, Deshaun Watson's going to be starting his 3rd game as the Browns quarterback. His second outing went a little bit better than his first, but not by much. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, they didn't have Lamar Jackson against the Steelers, and then Tyler Huntley got knocked out of the game with a concussion. They had to bring in an undrafted Anthony Brown, and they somehow found a way to win, riding the backs of J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. This is big for Baltimore. However, I'm going to go with the Browns because I have no idea what's going on with that quarterback situation. Miami taking on Buffalo. Buffalo would pull off win against the Jets. Jets gave everything that they had against Buffalo, but able to pull away at the end of it. Meanwhile, for Miami, coming off a Sunday night loss to the Chargers. They have lost 2 straight now, and they cannot afford to lose this game against the Bills. Unfortunately, I do have the Bills winning this game. Atlanta taking on New Orleans. Both these teams are coming off a bye. For New Orleans, it's been a rough season for them. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, they are still in it for the NFC South if things can go their way. I would expect this to be a fight, but I got the Falcons winning this game. Pittsburgh taking on Carolina. Carolina able to go into Seattle and pick up a victory. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, lost a smash-mouth, tough matchup with the Ravens. Kenny Pickett knocked out of the game with a concussion. Mitchell Trubisky came in, and he drove him down the field, but weren't able to finish. He threw 3 interceptions. We don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to be able to play, but I'm still going to have the Steelers over the Panthers. Philadelphia taking on Chicago. For Chicago, there have been some good moments, but not enough to have the season that they were expecting to have. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, they are absolutely exceeding everybody's expectations. They have the best record in the NFL. Only 1 loss. They're going to keep it that way. They get the win over the Bears. KC taking on Houston. I don't think I have to go on for this for too long. Houston only has 1 win. KC is trying to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. Give me the Chiefs. Dallas taking on Jacksonville. Jacksonville coming off a very, very impressive win against the Titans. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, had to fight to get the win against the Texans. I would expect this one to be a fight too because Jacksonville, they've been playing some good football. However, I'm picking the Cowboys to pull out a victory. Detroit taking on the Jets. For the Jets, they have absolutely exceeded everybody's expectations. They are in the hunt for a wild card spot, and all of this with issues at quarterback. Meanwhile, for the Lions, they have been playing some really good football during the second half of the season. I expect this to be a good fight, but I got the Jets pulling off the victory. Arizona taking on Denver. Both of these teams are having seasons that they'd rather not talk about. And Arizona just lost Kyler Murray to a torn ACL. We have no idea when he's going to be back on the field. Meanwhile, for Denver, they're also having issues at quarterback, but Russell Wilson has just not been worth the price that they have paid to get him. But I still got them beating the Cardinals. New England taking on the Raiders. For the Raiders, they're still trying to fight for a playoff spot, but it's going to be even tougher now than it was before. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, they're playing some good football right now. They, right now, have the last wildcard spot in the AFC. I say they hold on to it and beat the Raiders. Tennessee taking on the Chargers. Tennessee coming off a tough loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They cannot afford to have too many of those. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, able to get back into the playoff race, and I got them getting the win over the Titans. Cincinnati taking on Tampa Bay. For Cincinnati, they have won 5 straight. They seem unstoppable at this point. However, you're going to be facing off against an upset Tom Brady after the Buccaneers just got dominated by the 49ers. And you never want to face off against an angry Tom Brady. That's when he plays his best football. I'm going to go with the Bengals over the Bucks on this one, but do not expect this to be a cakewalk at all. Giants taking on Washington. Washington's coming off a bye, and they just played the Giants before that bye. They have 2 straight games against the same opponent. They had an extra week to get ready for the Giants. Seems very unfair. Giants tied against Washington in that first meeting, got just blown away by Philadelphia. Now they got to go on the road to face a team that they've already played, but they didn't play last week. Seems very unfair, and it sounds like Washington's going to end up with the win, and that's who I'm picking. And our Monday night game is going to be the Rams taking on the Packers. Both of these teams, very, very disappointing this year. For the Rams, they are the defending Super Bowl champions, and they're going to finish with a losing record. That's how much they have fallen. Right now they have Baker Mayfield at quarterback, who just led an incredible drive against the Raiders on Thursday night. Meanwhile, for the Packers, I mean, there's not much you can say about it. Very disappointing. 5-8 right now. Just hoping that they can go on a run and get lucky. I'm going to go with the Packers over the Rams, but really, it's just been 2 very disappointing seasons for these teams. Alright guys, those were my picks for Week 15. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.